to put you in your place. She's too good.
Be off with you now, and be glad I only took from you your gold. Fools. Ah, a Grey Warden. And I had heard that all the Ferelden Wardens were killed or exiled from this place. Oh, don't look so surprised. I've seen many of your kind in my journeys, and there is always something odd about you. But, Grey Warden or no, it is refreshing to see another woman who answers to no one. Now, what can I do for you, my dear? I assume you saw that little drama, and none of these poor brutes has ever proven a match for me. They are too clumsy and predictable. I fight with quickness and wit, rather than with brute force and strength. I call myself a duelist because I honed my skills in duels with warriors I encountered over the years. All right, I can see you're busy. Perhaps later then?
Turn around and walk, stranger. This affair is for White Falcons only.
Get a load of this guard. You're telling us what to do?
You have a point there. Man, let's clear out.
Don't want to get on Hawke's bad side, do we?
Tell Kylon I owe him one.
Yes. What? Is it customary where you're from to give complete strangers questioning looks? They call me Cassavir. I'm first mate on Captain Isabella's ship. More than this, you do not need to know. You are surprised to see another strong woman like yourself. Isabella commands the crew on the Siren's Call. She is a remarkable woman, and as you saw, quite formidable. She calls herself a duelist. But you cannot pay me enough to duel her. I'm not so stupid as those two. You should ask Isabella. I do not know how to explain.
Welcome to the Pearl. I'm Sanga, the proprietor. Have a seat, get comfortable, and tell me what you need. Every one of my people here is a skilled craftsman, and don't let anyone tell you different. You'll have to go one at a time, I'm afraid. Our rooms aren't quite big enough to share between so many. But we can discuss that in a moment. So what would you like me to show you? The men or the women? Or some of both, if you prefer.
I shall do it.
Of course.
I could have handled it. Thanks. I think I need to go hide somewhere.
Another Gray Warden supporter.
Not just a supporter, Peyton. That's a Grey Warden. She's the one Arl Howe is looking for.
Our trap landed a Warden? You've got one chance to surrender. For what it's worth, I believe you. Not that I particularly care. We're not common guards, Warden. We're Howe's elite. Shavra, Tenant, and Jarvie, let's kill ourselves a Warden.
Here goes trouble!
This won't take forever!
Now we go!
Let's have at it! Try to take...
Yes, of course.
Welcome back. What can I get for you, honey? Come again.
Welcome back, Gray Warden. And what can Isabella do for you today? I fight with quickness and wit, rather than with brute force and strength. I call myself a duelist because I honed my skills in duels with warriors I encountered over the years. An unusual request, coming from a fearsome slayer of Darkspawn. I am flattered that you wish to learn from me, sweet thing. But I have watched you, and you seem to lack a particular grace that is required. You are accustomed to doing battle a certain way, yes? I can teach you some basics. Perhaps you can pass it on to someone who might be interested in what I have to offer. I do, however, wish to get to know my potential student better, so we shall call for a drink, and you will honor me with a game. Have you ever played Wicked Grace? It is easy to learn, but difficult to master. You must watch your opponent's moves as carefully as your own. Before we start, the cards must be shuffled. Shall I, or would you like to? Very well. There. That should be sufficient. 5 cards each to start with, and may the cleverest player win. The serpent-entwined dagger. I was looking for this. Oh, I think I'm going to win this round. You mean this card? Your memory is impressive. You have proven yourself quick and resourceful, and I would be honored to pass my skills on to you. Come, we will need some space for this. I don't think there's anything else I can teach you. Perhaps tell those you meet where you learned what you know.
I was hoping I'd find you. I heard about the Pearl. I don't know how, but you got them to leave with no fuss at all. The Pearl's workers will...
Nobody gives orders to my men but me. A little lesson in respect is in order.
I see. Don't bother sparing these louts. Things are about to get messy.
Enemy ahead. Watch out.
Another battle!
Down you go!
I tried to be merciful!
And people actually voluntarily attack you. Are they just stupid? Here's the payment I promised. I might have more work if you're interested. But I'm heading back to the market district. The back alleys are just too dangerous for me.
I know that look. You have something on your mind, don't you? Denerim is Ferelden's most important city, yes? This is the seat of power, the jewel in the crown of the king. She is Ferelden's heart. Her walls are strong, but within them lies so much beauty, just like the country and the people. I'm here. I know that look. You have something on your mind, don't you? Of course. Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think. Chantry law says it is man's pride that created the Darkspawn. In ages past, the mages of the Tevinder Imperium ruled much of the world we know. In their pride, they thought their magics invincible and imagined that they were greater than the Maker himself. So thinking, they invaded his golden city, planning to take it for themselves and depose their own creator. But they were impure and full of sin. And it is with the sin that they tainted the golden city, corrupting it forever. The Maker cursed them and cast them from his sight. Wherever they went, they spread the taint of their sin. Any land that was touched by the taint became blighted and would suffer no life. Instead, the Darkspawn arose to torment us and remind us of our hubris. Which one? Andraste was the Maker's chosen. The Maker had long since abandoned the world when the sound of her singing turned his ear. Beauty, grace, and wisdom enraptured him, and he offered to take her from this flawed world to become his divine bride. But Andraste had an earthly husband and would not forsake him. Instead, she beseeched the Maker to return to his people once more. So earnest was her plea that the Maker was moved, and promised that he would create a paradise on earth if all abandoned their false gods and turned once more to him. And this is why Andraste began her exalted march on the idolaters of the Tevinder Imperium. The Maker granted her his powers with which to smite her enemies. Andraste brought the Imperium to its knees, and her victories converted many to the worship of the Maker. Alas, It was the frailties of men that betrayed and killed Andraste. Her earthly husband, Mahariel, a chieftain of the Alamari tribes himself, grew jealous as his wife's popularity and influence overshadowed his own. She was also revered as the Maker's betrothed, and Mahariel began to see their own bond waning in significance as Andraste became ever more devoted to the Maker. Out of envy and spite, Mahariel made a pact with the Archon Hysarian of Tevinter, allowing his beloved Andraste to be ambushed and captured. Andraste was burned at the stake in Minrathous, the capital of Tevinter. I have thought on this too. Did he withdraw his sight from her at that moment? Where were all the powers he bestowed upon her? This question has come to me many times, and I have no answer. Perhaps there was no way for Andraste to return to the Maker but through her death. We will never know for sure. I know little about your people, but I may be misinformed, and I would hate to offend you. I have heard a little about how the elves gained their freedom from the Tevinter Imperium. When Andraste began her exalted march against the Imperium, the elves joined her cause to fight their masters. The great elven leader, Shatan, born in captivity, rose up to lead his people. He foresaw a future where the elves were free. Shatan was killed when Andraste was betrayed, but the elves continued to fight, eventually breaking free of the Imperium. The elves claimed the Dales in the south and settled there in a land of their own. The elves lived in the Dales for centuries. They resurrected the worship of the elven gods and would allow the building of no chantry. This angered the chantry, and the hostility between the two factions finally broke out in open war. The chantry says the elves struck first, but I do not know whether to believe it. The chantry declared a wholly exalted march against the elves, named for Andraste's similar march against Tevinter. During the exalted march of the Dales, the elven cities were sacked, and the elven state completely dissolved. Some of the elves bitterly accepted their fates and surrendered to human rule, living in the human cities as second-class citizens. But others, still fiercely proud of their heritage, refused to bow to the humans, and instead became homeless wanderers. They were the elves of the Dales, the Dalish.
Huh.
This here is our killer.
Who is that? Run while you can. If only on this. I suppose violence is encouraged sometimes. Let's end this.
Gray Warden!
I shall do it. Be careful!
That's it!
I'll try to be merciful. Oh, no! Yes!
I see.
Yes? I feared this day would come.